Okay then, so joining us on episode 2 of In Ring Pop, we've got Mark Andrews. Thank you very much for joining us, Mark.
Thank you for having me, Claire.
You've had a fantastic year, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been great so far, yeah.
Absolutely crazy. So you've gone from the UK wrestling scene onto British Bootcamp for TNA, where you were the eventual winner. You beat off a lot of the UK favourites like Grado, Noam Dar and Dave Mastiff. How did it feel to get to that top spot above all those guys?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, the whole experience was really good. It was like, I mean, being on the show in general was just an amazing experience. I didn't really think I was going to get as far as I did, to be honest. It was, I mean, when I first got asked to do the show, it was that alone was mind-blowing for me, and then slowly got into the next step and the next step and got to the final 6. So I was really over my head for the whole experience, really. And then when I finally found out that I'd won, I mean, that was just crazy. It took a little while for it to sink in, a long while actually. It took ages for it to sink in and realise I was going to be part of TNA. So yeah, I mean, it was great as well experiencing the whole thing with my friends, because Dave Mastiff, Noam Dar, Kaylee Rampage, and Grado. All 5 of them, we all became really close throughout the whole process, and beforehand we'd all known each other quite well, so it was great being able to experience the whole show with those guys.
Yeah, you're all part of kind of the same scene at the minute. You're all familiar faces with us here at In Ring Pop. So what's the journey been like since you've won it? How much has your life changed?
It's changed dramatically. I mean, I feel like I've been on cloud 9 and I haven't come down, because from winning it and flying out to New York for my debut in January, and then once that aired on TV, the reception I got for that was huge. And ever since flying out, at first I was flying out back and forth to the tapings here in America until recently, about 3 or 4 months ago, when I moved out here for full time. And I just feel like I haven't come down yet, really. It's been a constant, uphill journey, really. It's gotten better and better, and bigger things are happening, and I'm happy to, continue living it.
Obviously, the first ever British Bootcamp winner was our beloved Rockstar Spud. How helpful has he been with you?
Spud has been an insane help for the whole process, really. He was the only person in the entire world who could relate to what I was going through, not only just going from the UK, going to TNA, but going through the bootcamp process. So I was lucky enough to actually share a room with him, and it definitely helped my mindset on not just the bootcamp process, but at the time if I would win, which I ended up doing. So ever since the bootcamp process, he's been loads of help, giving me tips and telling me what to do, what not to do, and just he's the one person I feel can relate to what I've been going through for the whole thing.
That's great. And we asked some of our Facebook and Twitter fans to get involved with your interview this evening, and we've got a question from Francis. He wants to know how you transitioned from a 4-sided ring to a 6-sided ring. Is there much of a difference?
See, I didn't think there was going to be a big difference, but there definitely is. I wrestled in a 6-sided ring once or twice before in the UK, but it definitely wasn't to the standard of the TNA ring. And when I actually finally, took a little bit of time training in the TNA ring, I realised how different it was. Just the angles throw you off, and especially with my style of wrestling, where I'm bouncing on ropes and running around quite a lot, hitting the ropes, using them for my offense. It was complete, change of pace for me. So it was definitely a big change, and I'm starting to get used to it, I think.
Great. And in regards to TNA, the whole experience, is there anyone that you've not faced that you want to face?
Two guys who I'd love to face here, who I'm hoping to get a match at some point, are the Wolves.
Yeah.
Because those two guys, I've been a big fan of their work for years, and I hope that down the line, some sort of tag match or multi-man match, I get to face them both, in those matches and one-on-one as well. So yeah, the Wolves are two guys I really want to get in the ring with.
I'm going to talk about your other job, because you're quite multi-talented, aren't you?
Well, I like to think so myself, yeah.
So you're in a band called Junior.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the band. What sort of music is it?
So we're a pop-punk trio from Wales. Me and my friend Matt and my friend Si started up about a year and a half ago maybe, and originally it was just a small little project because I had most of my time on my hands once I graduated from uni, but after a while we kind of got more serious about it and we got more invested in it, and now we're pretty much planning to take over the world, so so we're starting doing that on our upcoming tour, which starts next week.
What is it that you actually do in the band? Are you a vocalist?
So I am vocalist and bassist. We have 2 vocalists though, so I have to sing afterwards, which makes my job easier.
So obviously you're a wrestler as well. So would you compare yourself a little bit to Chris Jericho and the Fozzy kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Jericho is a massive influence, to be honest, because the fact that he managed to pull off having a career where he achieved so much in pro wrestling, but then also his band became really successful as well. I mean, he's played some of the biggest stages in the world, Down Festival and things like that size. I'd love to be able to pull off that with my band while still maintaining wrestling as well. So, just the fact that he was able to do it and prove that, you can actually pull off having two careers that, expect that from you. Because obviously, being a pro wrestler is quite demanding in a lot of ways, and so is being a musician. So a lot of people tell me, if you had to choose one or the other, which one would you choose? And it's like, I don't even ever want to give myself that choice, I always just want to expect that I can achieve both. And the fact that he's done that is awesome. It's a mega influence.
And you said there, the pressures of wrestling, you're all over the place. You were in Orlando last week, you're back in the UK now. You live in Ohio at the minute, is that right?
Yes, yeah, I'm currently based in Ohio, but back and forth a lot to the UK.
So how do you handle the distance between you and the other band members? How do you bring it all together?
Well, that's something that was a big test for our band, to be honest, because when I went over to Ohio, we really have to up our game in terms of content. With the internet these days and social media, it's a lot easier for us to keep regular content online and stuff like that. But it's funny because, we record covers where we record half of it in the UK and half of it in Ohio and just do it all over the wires and edit it all together, and it works out really well. But I definitely feel like it's actually made us stronger, if anything, because we've all taken it more seriously. We've all had to sacrifice more things, or it be like, real life jobs and stuff like that, or just time on our hands to make it work. So it's been awesome because it's really it's tested us. I feel like we're doing well so far. So the fact that I can come back now and just do a UK tour when I've got time off wrestling, I mean, that just proves it that we can try and pull it off.
Yeah. Do the other guys have day jobs as well?
They did recently when I hope with my influence made them quit and try and chase their dreams. So they've. My drummer has a non-profit organisation called Heads Above the Waves, and it's like a charity clothing brand which raises awareness on depression and self-harm. So he focuses a lot on that, which is great, and it goes hand in hand with the music we play as well. And then my guitarist and the other vocalist, Matt, he's a graphic designer, and he's actually recently gotten into the wrestling industry in terms of writing music for wrestlers to enter the ring to, and doing t-shirt designs and stuff. So it's all worked out pretty well, and I feel like wrestling has kind of benefited music in more ways than one.
Oh, great! That's fantastic. As always, we get our Twitter followers to get involved, and we've got a question from Brittany in Florida. Her Twitter name is @GlamorsandBroski, which I think is a cool Twitter name. She wants to know how did you come up with the name Junior for the band?
Honestly, we just sat around, spitballing for a while. We wanted something that was short, that was reasonably modest, and wasn't, anything too corny or, too amplified and stuff like that. So we just we thought Junior was a nice subtle word that kind of represents our music quite well. Kind of modest, slightly childish, but not too immature.
Yeah. And you've got your September release coming out. Is it your first album, Juniorland?
It'll be our first professionally recorded EP. But yeah, Juniorland is now looking to be released early October, and we're mega excited for it. I mean, we've been sitting on it for a little while just so we can make sure we can promote it properly and have a real build up to it. But with this tour coming up next week, and hopefully another tour after that, we're really excited to show everyone our new material because it's definitely our best.
You're on tour starting this week, like you said. You're going to your hometown Cardiff twice.
Yep.
How does it feel performing in front of your family as a musician as opposed to a wrestler?
It's amazing. It's weird because I always say to people, the great thing about performing as a wrestler, performing as a musician as opposed to a wrestler, is that you never get worried beforehand that you're gonna hurt yourself. Because when you're playing on stage, you might screw up, you might end up sounding crap, but you're never going to get hurt. Whereas in wrestling, there's a big chance that you could. So that's a lot of stress off my back in terms of performing. I'm so used to having to, worry and warm up and just look after my body. Whereas with music, don't get me wrong, I my vocals obviously, but the chance of me accidentally landing on my head and breaking my neck is very slim. So touch wood anyway. But what we do with performing, I love performing, whether it's wrestling or with music, especially with my friends and family. because they've been supportive the whole time, you know what I mean? So in Cardiff, I have a real strong base of friends and family, so it's awesome for me for an event here.
And here at In Ring Pop, we're based in Manchester, and you're not coming to Manchester on this tour.
We're not, no, we really wanted to actually. We really wanted to head to Manchester area. So we're definitely going to look into it for a tour down the line, maybe even in November.
You are actually coming to Manchester as part of TNA though on the next tour, aren't you?
Yes, we are, yeah.
Okay, you're looking forward to that?
Yeah, I mean, last year, the Manchester crowd were incredible. I mean, the entire tour was, but Manchester had a real strong fan base, and it's crazy to think how much wrestling goes on in the UK now, because, you know, in Glasgow, Manchester, and London, we had 3 different huge crowds, and they were all just allowed each other. So I'm definitely looking forward to going back to Manchester next year in January.
It's quite funny actually. I was showing someone a video that I did backstage at HXC in Manchester quite a while ago, and I was doing a segment with Joey Hayes and Danny Hope, and you kind of walk in the background, realise that we're filming, and kind of awkwardly disappear again in the background.
Yeah, I remember that actually. Yeah.
So it was really funny. But so going from a small venue like that to an arena, how does that compare?
It's insane. I mean, I'm a big fan of all the independent things, whether it be music, whether it be wrestling. So I'm a big fan of smaller, intimate shows, and I don't think you can ever replicate that. You know what I mean? It's a small, intimate show. It's definitely my favourite setting. However, the kind of the lights and the actual show and the whole just production of a big show is outstanding. It's something that, again, that you can't experience on the indies, you know. So it's awesome seeing it. Like, such a big difference between the two types of shows. They're just 2 completely different experiences, you know what I mean? Especially when you're working towards the cameras and stuff like that. It's just a whole different ball game. I'm glad I've had the experience to get used to it.
Yeah. So if someone wants to get tickets now for the junior tour, where can they get them from?
So if you want to get tickets for the junior tour, they head over to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/music of junior. They'll find out all details for individual shows, but the majority of them are paying on the door, which saves everyone, the hassle of buying tickets before. So yeah, just over to facebook.com/music of junior.
And how are we going to get hold of your album in September?
That will be on our Bandcamp, which will be www.musicofjunior.bandcamp.com. I have to remember that one then. and it'll also be available through Ambition Records. So they're going to be putting out the release with, cool flags and cool merchandise. So everyone should definitely go over to Ambition Records on Twitter and Instagram and check those guys out.
Great, okay, well, we'll put all the links underneath the podcast for more information, and thank you very much once again for joining us.